I want to draw the picture of how stressed and overwhelmed I was. I was the king of not making decisions, but I was subconsciously just letting it go. Sabotaging it. We're like a cruise ship. Imagine two cruise ships going in the water, right? And they both have the same destination, but one of the cruise ships, the one on the left here, is just 1 degree off. Now, over half a mile, it's not a big deal. Over 1 mile, it's not a big deal. Over 100 miles, this cruise ship is now way off track. It's gone. It's never going to reach its destination. Unfortunately, what happens to most of us, entrepreneurs or not, we end up doing small degrees of inadequacies in our life. In our business, we overlook the employee that we should have a confrontation with, a conversation with, and correct them, and we don't. There's a conversation we should have with our spouse, and we don't. There's a leakage in our business that it's just small enough where we can overlook, but a small leak becomes a big leak. And so it's the 1 degrees of change that I used to allow that would become 10, 20 degrees. Now, 10, 20 degrees in my personal life, in my health, in my money, in my relationship. Now I'm 80 degrees off my path. It never happens overnight.
Absolutely.
No one goes broke overnight, bad relationship overnight, bad mindset overnight.
You think it happened overnight, but it didn't.
And so I always tell people, I say, look how important 1 degree of change is. Water boils at 211 degrees. And you can make a hard-boiled egg. But 1 more degree, 212 degrees, it turns into steam. And now it can power a nuclear power plant. 1 degree of change, it goes from water to steam. 1 degree of change in us multiplies, and over time can erode our money, our mindset, our relationships, everything, our health. My business was falling apart so severely. I was over $640,000 in debt. And I had employees not just quitting one at a time. One day, 4 of them quit at one time. And I only had 11 employees at the time. It's not the 50 team members that we have now. And things were so bad, and I was drinking NyQuil every night and taking Vicodin, painkillers, to go to sleep because my brain was so active, I was so stressed. In the mornings I would wake up and it would be coffee and pre-workout and Adderall, stimulants to wake up because I was so foggy-headed. Like, I want to draw the picture of how stressed and overwhelmed I was. I realize now, looking back, I was depressed. I was depressed and anxious. And so what I realized that I'm not going to fix my business. I just said I'm just going to let it fall apart. So I would go and buy a book from the bookstore and start reading it in my car, just waiting for my business to fall apart so that I can say, see, I tried, but it fell apart. But I was subconsciously just letting it go. Sabotaging it. Well, one of the books I was reading was by a Navy SEAL named Howard Wasden. He was a Navy SEAL sniper, SEAL Team 6, in the 90s during the Black Hawk Down era in Africa, Mogadishu. And he wrote stories of just war and what it's like and et cetera. But in his book, he talks about their training and how they have to be decisive and they have to own every single situation. And before they ever go to kill or capture or do anything, they have a very specific mission. And every single team member is clear on their vision, right? And they don't call them soldiers, they call them a team. And they work as a unified force to win against the opponent. Do I want a team or employees? Of course I want a team. It's the only way I'm going to win in this franchise game. And so as I'm reading one Navy SEAL book and I go buy another one and another one, they keep reinforcing the same thing. Self-discipline, great communication. That's what you need if you have to go to battle and kill someone. Your Navy SEAL team has to have great communication, the ability to be on the same page of the mission and the vision, be decisive. If something goes wrong, make a decision. I was the king of not making decisions. Most people are indecisive. And of course, go from having just mishmash employees to a team. So I kept reading. There's 11 Navy SEALs that I give thanks to in the very back. These 11 Navy SEALs wrote amazing books, and I was just reading it for entertainment. But I kept getting the same message subconsciously installed. Self-discipline, great communication, clarity of vision, mission-focused, decisiveness, build a team. Emotional resilience, over and over and over. And soon, I didn't even realize it. I was using that in my business, and I saw my business slowly get back on track. And I go, holy smokes, these guys have been coaching me through their books, and now I'm fixing my business. And once I was aware of it, I really went all in. And over in the next 2.5 years, by 2015, we started seeing a massive change and a positive change. Pillar number 1 is self-discipline. You cannot lead unless you're leading yourself.